This video was sponsored by Enhance, Elbilmek, a better road planner, Kempower and bilkomponenter.
Yo, what's up? Today we're going to do a range test of this IM5. It's the sedan version of the IM6. It's so sexy. We're gonna see how thirsty it is, because you guys know that the IM6 was really thirsty, like fat e-tron thirsty. So what about the IM5? It's more aerodynamic. It's slick. It slices through the air like Swiss cheese through butter, right? Look at this. Is this the most beautiful car from Psych? Oh man. Yeah. And the charge port is on the left side with the right side, not the right side with the wrong side. Oh, they are still on summer tires. I thought they were, I thought they were on winter tires. They have Hankook, Ion, Evo. Let me check here. 275, 40, 19. Okay, that's good. Not big tires. And then what about the front? Is it staggered? Trying to figure out where the heck it is there. Okay, 245, 45, 19. All right. Maybe not the most aerodynamic rims, but okay. So inside, we need to set it up now. I should probably use, if you go to, yeah, there has a lower screen, an upper screen here, and a quite big instrument cluster. I'm gonna go to controls. No, I think it's driving. I'm gonna use eco mode. I'm sure if I'm gonna do the crap. Yeah, this is a test drive from the Norwegian Mobility Group, the importer of MG and IM. So I only have actually 1 more hour. I have really limited time because I arrive at the event kind of late. So let me see, we're gonna reset this meter. Remember that it's capped at 298 watt-hour per kilometer. It's in eco mode. Is there anything else I need to do? No, I don't think so. So we will just take a limited loop. I'll show you here. If you go, it shows you how many percent it will arrive with. We'll just go 2 minutes and then back again and just measure. That should be long enough to measure the consumption. So yeah, it's 12 degrees outside. It's 5th of November and it's 12 degrees. It's remarkably warm. But in just 3-4 days, it's going to be a lot colder. So I guess this is good, but it is wet today. And quick stats, 751 horsepower, 0 to 103.2 seconds. And then the turning radius is, what is it, radius? Or okay, but it's 9.98, almost 9.9. Yeah, for the IM5. That is really impressive. Actually, the fun fact that IM5 is a little bit longer than the IM6 even. And then, yeah, anhagakupplung weight, all right, okay, whatever, okay. Yeah, we'll also test this. It has RNC, or active noise cancelling. And of course, double glazed windows. Yeah. Fox on the roof. Oh, on move, I'm doing the 120 test first. I have to cruise 123 to match 120. Wait. Okay, I'll adjust it. And as we've seen before in the IM6, it caps the consumption at 298 watt-hour per kilometer. But the consumption should be lower so we can actually see the real consumption. Otherwise, I need to do some extra hacks. Okay, and this car also has auto lane change with blind spot. They're also monitoring, very nice. Dude, this is just amazing, because I thought that this car had winter tires on. I mean, it's 5th of November, right? Most people, they actually put on the winter tires already mid-October. But it has the Hankook tires, which is known to not be the most quiet tire out there. For example, Pirelli P0 has the acoustic foam, so it's quieter. But despite that, it is really quiet. And nowadays, I drive the Neo ET5 Touring with Nokian Hakkapeliitta R5 EV winter tires, and they have the acoustic foam. And when I sat in here and started driving, like, this is quieter than the ET5. Whoa! Could be because of the ANC. If I try to lean forward now, I might be out of the comfort zone for the ANC, right? Or if I do something like this, move it out. There's an elephant rennen here, but if I try to move it out of the comfort zone, there should be more rumbling. because then it might work against the faces and you get more rumbling, right? This is what I experienced with the Tesla Model S with ANC, is that if I went forward, there would be significantly more rumbling than when I put it here. So should be optimized for this area. But in this car, when I tried it, I didn't hear that much difference. So I suspect that it is already really quiet in here, despite that we are on somewhat rough asphalt. Let me get over to the right lane, which should be rough. Oh, what the heck, man? But the car tends to slow down in the curves, like a Toyota driver. Okay, that stuff needs to be fixed. Yeah, here it's rougher asphalt. You can hear slightly more rumblings if I go forward. Yeah, I can hear it now. If I go more forward, I can hear more rumbling versus here. So the system is working, and there's no way to turn it off. I asked the importer, it's always on. But man, also when it comes to the ride quality, very impressive. It's almost unbelievable that you can get this car in Norway for 500k. No, this is not, I mean, it's even at the top, you know. You can get also the lower, the rear wheel drive, whatever, but this is the all-wheel drive, 100 kilowatt hour. You get it for 500k, look. And it's so nice and comfy in here. The seats are super comfy, soft. Feel like it's softer, more comfy than the ET5 Touring I'm driving even. I'm just blown away, and this is coming from Bjorn. I'm just being brutally honest here. Wow. So, yeah. 2 thumbs up. Now this is interesting. Even in, wait, you went back to comfort mode? What? I thought I had it in eco mode. Dude, why the heck did it go back to comfort? Okay, well, it's in eco mode now, but even in eco mode, it will go 96% front and 4% rear. So it doesn't totally disengage one motor. That could be the reason why it is a bit thirsty, but however, why is it not being rear wheel biased instead of front wheel? Front motor should be more efficient. That's why it's trying to use it most. All right, great, we turn around, and finally the consumption makes sense. We are consuming only 281 watt-hour per kilometer right now. Okay, at least we get some correct consumption and not a capped consumption. It is kind of high still, even though it's 13 degrees outside. Okay, back now, I'm just gonna show you. I'm gonna go over there. It's like unreal movements. Dude, I even went too far to the left. Just show you. Like, I was expecting to maybe hit the... yeah. Wow, you can see it in 360 camera. Holy macaroni, the maneuverability here is incredible with the rear wheel steering. And you have to get like a way more expensive Mercedes EQS maybe to get the rear wheel steering. Okay, consumption was 267 watt-hour per kilometer. I have to check distance and calculate some stuff. All right, second run. We're cruising at 93 on the speedo to match 90 GPS speed. Okay, all good. Still in eco mode. Wait, this screen is a bit bright. And the consumption is, as always, 298 watt-hour per kilometer. Remember the ABC. Always be capping the consumption. Okay, well, let me see. If I do this, this side here, check, okay, energy consume. Okay, I'm not sure if the correct term here. Yeah, you see, it's still, interesting. Now it's doing more, it's not doing that much front. It could be that the car detects that it's wet outside and it just wants to ensure that we have the best grip possible. And when it comes to the four-wheel steering, when we drive slow in parking lots or whatever, the rear wheel will turn against the front wheel, but then in higher speed it will actually turn towards the steering wheel, the front wheel, right, to improve dynamics, driving dynamics. Yeah, this is interesting. Never noticed this before when I tested. So it seems to go all-wheel drive, and that's maybe why it's kind of thirsty. Yeah, we're still in eco mode. You see here, we get this on this side, which is the blind spot warning, and then the same on this side here, if there's a car on that side. So very nice. But man, I'm just blown away by how comfortable the car is. Actually, now it almost sounds slightly louder than when we're driving faster. Maybe it's just due to some resonance. Interesting. But okay, still, you know, the car is very quiet. It is super comfy. It rides and feels more like way more expensive German cars, you know? It's game over for the Germans. They should be worried right now. Man, psych. Kicks ass for the Lord. I've been telling you guys for a long time that the Chinese cars are just getting better and better. They don't have the 6-year life cycle for an EV. They have maybe just 2 years, like NIO, you know, or Xpeng. They just keep improving. And this car charges so fast, 396 kilowatt. What was it again? Check. I have to check here. Yeah, my sheet. But also, okay, whatever. Roughly there. Okay, focus on the road. And then all-wheel drive, 751 horsepower, 100 kilowatt hour. You know, you have to buy an Audi A6 e-tron if you want to get 100 kilowatt hour. If you go for the poor man's car, the ID7, you get only 84 or 91 or something kilowatt hour. Okay, this car is kind of thirsty, but who cares? We just brute forces and charge fast like a boss. So, man, like, what is wrong with this car? You know, when you meet the perfect girl, like when you met wifey, it's like, it's too good to be true. There's gonna be something, and then after I married her, I'm like, oh, okay. Well, one slight problem is the rear visibility. This is usually what you see, right? Okay, I'm not sure if maybe the middle headrest could be lower slightly, but still, even if it's in the low position, or lower than this, you don't see much there. And then this car has no digital rear mirror or whatever, but I'm not a fan of that anyway. So yeah, okay, that is a small minus. No, what the heck is this? 8-volt-tunnelen. Huh? Is it still gonna repeat it? Yeah, it keeps saying 8-volt-tunnel. No, we are not in the tunnel anymore. The tunnel was way back there. We passed it over a minute ago, and it still keeps saying 8-volt-tunnel. Okay, maybe some of the map data here is not correct. Oh, interesting. Now we are on the bridge, Julsrudbrua. Okay, is it gonna say Julsrudbrua for the next kilometer? Okay, we passed the bridge now. We're back on land. No, that must have been a glitch then. That tunnel, 8-volt-tunnel. Okay, well, let's weigh the car. Hey, that's IM5 up there. Oh, there. Cool. Okay, they were checking the weight. Let me see. Zoom in a bit here and there. All right, let me see. Front axle, 1180. All right. The whole car. Whoa, it's heavy. 2360. It's like a BMW i4. But you know, i4 is only 80 kilowatt hour. This is 100 kilowatt hours. In that regard, it is still quite impressive. Oh, speaking of the i4, there's an i4 M50. And this IM5 is faster than the M50. Charges almost twice as fast as the M50. And then also costs less than the M50, huh? Consumption, however, might be also twice as high. Okay, maybe not, but no, it's 207 watt-hour per kilometer so far. This car should be comparable to a Model 3, and the Model 3 in these conditions should consume maybe 150 watt-hour per kilometer. Why is it so thirsty? Well, this time it was 204 watt-hour per kilometer. All right, all good. Now we're gonna test charging to see what kind of speed we get. Wait, there's something wrong with the screen. I cannot press it to get there. You see, 833 volt. We're actually getting 100 kilowatt now at 73%. So I don't know what's up with that other car I tested, because only the 75 kilowatt hour rear wheel drive has the 400 volt battery. 100 kilowatt hour is 800 volts. So big mystery, but whoa. Dude, I haven't preheated. I'm charging really fast. But okay, time is up. I must go home now. I mean, I have to return this car. We are back home now in the new ET5 Touring. And wow, yeah, back here, I mean, this is still nice, maybe tighter, but not as comfy and soft as the IM5. But both really good cars, yeah. But okay, when it comes to the efficiency though, maybe I should even test the ET5, because even the ET5 is not the most efficient car, but I feel like it is more efficient than the IM5, IM6. But also, yeah, when on the way back here, yes, the battery was at the highest charge on the ET5, and then I put it in Sport Plus, and I floored it, and I felt like, is the battery too cold? Are we getting power limit? And I look at the power meter. No, we were in fact getting around 360 kilowatt, which is more or less max on this car. But once you have experienced 751 horsepower, then everything else just feels slow. So, do you need it? No. You want it? Yes, me wants it. Okay, but so the IM6 run, yeah, the car felt a bit thirsty back then. Yes, the IM6, but it was cold. It was actually warmer now. And the IM6 will consume more as expected because it's bigger and bulkier. But yeah, so these cars, they are kind of thirsty, but it weighs, I mean, outweighs that, or I mean, compensating for it is that you get a big battery and really fast charging. So overall, maybe it's more like a fat e-tron, and people love the fat e-tron, right? So this comfort level is just superb with these IM5, IM6 cars. So I'm really impressed. Yeah. So I talked to MG that, yeah, pressed cars are available soon. I'm gonna go to Thailand actually in around 3 weeks, so I'm running out of time. I already booked 3 cars during that, you know, so I'm kind of booked, so I could just double penetrate myself and get one maybe IM5, IM6. Well, I'll ask you guys, if I need to choose, which car should I go for to test 1,000 kilometer and a little bit more? Well, I've kind of already done the range test, so it's basically just 1,000 kilometer challenge and banana box test. I'm gonna go for IM5 or IM6. I feel like people want IM6, right? Because it's SUV, and then everyone in Norway and Europe, they want SUV. Nobody wants sedans. Okay, but I'll ask you guys anyway, IM5 or IM6 if I can get one, because I'm a Taycan. So that's gonna be it for now. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, thank you for watching, and talk to you later.